right, President Trump has just come out with the Truth Social. We read part of it in the last segment. Actually, we'll probably read a little bit more of it now. But the basic point is it's open-ended. There are no meetings tomorrow. The ceasefire will continue until such time as a proposal is submitted by Iran and discussions are concluded one way or another. President Donald J. Trump, he wants a unified proposal. The whole hierarchy is completely fractured, but the crazies for the IRGC are in control. Anyway, let us bring in the great Victor Davis Hanson, Hoover Institution Senior Fellow. Victor, thank you for your time. A thought on this, it's very open-ended. I'm happy to read it again. It's just, he's just extending the ceasefire until he gets a proposal. And one way or another, he leaves it there, which I think, Victor, leaves, of course, they could have combat military operations anytime they want. It leaves the blockade, okay, which I personally like a lot. No oil, no money. Maybe they go after all the bank seizures, you know, take the banking accounts away in the UAE and Turkey and all that sort of thing. So we're going to just try to squeeze them out, I guess, financially. We're going to starve them out. Is that possible?
Absolutely. That's their card has always been on and off negotiations ad nauseum. Try to wait us out. But Trump has 6 months until the midterm. I don't think they have 6 weeks. They might not have 6 days at the way they're hemorrhaging money. They have no cards to play. The Chinese are not going to come and help them. The Russians are out of the Middle East. The Europeans, they used to terrify the Europeans. They don't anymore. The Gulf states have been alienated. They're on the side of Israel and the United States. The only card I think they can play is the American left and media. When you have a U.S. senator saying, you know, it's awesome that one Iranian ship got out, maybe on the way to China, or Tom Friedman says, you know, he doesn't want it to work, the war to be successful if it empowers Donald Trump. That resonates with them, but that's not going to help them. As long as we have the courage to keep the blockade on and block their bank accounts, they're going to have to do something radical, either surrender or they're going to shoot off missiles. If they shoot off missiles, they're going to incur a terrible amount, a lot of damage. But we don't know who they are, Larry. There's 4 factions: the theocrats, the elected officials, the army, and the Revolutionary Guard. And on the one hand, if they appear too hard line, they're afraid maybe they'll be droned if hostilities start again, the individual hardliners, or if the regime falls, they're going to get a noose and kind of a Nuremberg retribution by the people. If they appear too soft, one of the other cliques will say they're sellouts. So they're all over the map, and they're all fighting with each other, and we don't have a coherent interlocutor. And that's fine as long as we keep on the blockade.
Yeah, again, well, we starve them for money and oil. That's great. So at what point do the factions go after each other? You know, revolutions sometimes start that way. They just start shooting each other.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think a lot of them felt that they survived the damage inflicted by the military, but they're afraid they won't survive the economic damage. All these people have children in universities in Europe. They have cousins in the United States. They have homes in LA. They have homes in London. This idea that this puritanical, theocratic weirdos is not quite true. They are really opportunistic grifters, the theocracy. They're crooks, they're criminals, and they're dishonest and corrupt. And the one thing that can really hurt them is going after their money. And I think that's what they're going to feel the most keenly.
You know, one thing I'd love to see, in addition to the blockade and so forth, let's just take out all these bank accounts they have, the UAE, you know, and Omar and Turkey, all these big shots. Who's ever left the IRG and Parliament, you know it, they all have offshore. They've stolen billions, Victor, billions from Iran. They own businesses left and right, which they've also stolen from ordinary people. So I'd love to see us seize those offshore assets. I don't care. Put them in an escrow account in the Treasury, but the point is, don't let them get their paws on any money at all. You know, no payroll next week, no retirement accounts, no nothing.
Yeah, and they've always been bailed out either by acting like lunatics and scaring people, or China and Russia. There's nobody to bail them out now. They have no friends. They've alienated everybody, and there's no big power that think they're profitable anymore. They're a liability for Russia and China now, not an asset. And so they're orphaned, and they know it, and they're going to act a little crazy. But they can't even retaliate with a missile or drone without being obliterated. So they're in a fix, and they know it. The key, though, is you got to keep the blockade on.
Yes, blockade was such a brilliant thing. You're 1,000% right. Terrific stuff. We need to control the Persian Gulf. We know the Strait of Hormuz, the Strait Oman. This the whole Persian Gulf. We need to control it, and I think we're on our way to controlling it. Now, Victor, one last one here. You mentioned China, which always interests me, right? The biggest buyer of Iranian oil. Now, China's been hurt by this. Among other things, they've not gotten oil, and secondly, they've not gotten the big cheap oil discount. Should Mr. Trump go to China? He's supposed to go all the way over there. I'm not sure to what purpose exactly, but should he go? And if he goes, what should he do?
Well, I think he's going to go over there and tell China there's a lot of oil in the Persian Gulf. You've got all the Gulf sheikdoms are happy to sell you oil, and the new regime, if we can get a new regime, it's going to be an open market. You're welcome to come in. Just don't come in with this regime in power, and don't buy oil from them, and don't sell them weapons. It's very simple, and I think that will give a lot of pressure from China on the regime. I think that's what he's going over there for.
Let China buy from us. You know,
Yes,
we have very good oil. We can get over there pretty fast.
I think we got a lot of people want to buy from us, though. I hope we have enough oil. Everybody wants to buy from us now.
Well, little did we know, drill, baby, drill is going to be a global play.
Oops.
No, that's all right. You may have lost your, if you lost your microphone, I'm sorry about that. Anyway, we'll leave it there. The great Victor Davis Hanson, technology sometimes gets in the way. Anyway, hang on, folks, for a moment or two. We're going to come out and talk to Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville. I want to ask him about the banking segment. I want to ask him about student loans and fraud. I want to ask him about Iran. Thank you, Victor Davis Hanson. We appreciate it very much. I'm Kudlow. We'll be right back.